Hello everybody, and in today's video we are going to be doing Ultimate Tweaks versus RisxnTweaks. I am extremely excited for this test because Ultimate Tweaks was actually the first paid tweaking program that I paid for. It was around 2 years ago. It was actually a bat file back then, so I see that they have come a long way. So I am very excited for this test. Actually, like always, I am on a i7 10700F, 16 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM running at 3000 megahertz. And I am on a 1660 Super. For the price of the tweaks, the extreme panel or the extreme tweaks from Risxn comes in at 30 USD, or if you use code Hydra at checkout, you can get 15% off any product. So you can get this for around $25 if you use my code, but we're gonna go off the $30. Ultimate Tweaks is actually a monthly subscription based utility. I hate these utilities. I hate all monthly subscription based utilities like Hone, if you watch that video. So this is basically $13 a month, so that would be more than $130 a year. Very pricey, I would say. Obviously you can cancel your subscription whenever you want and buy it again, but that is just annoying. So yeah. But like always, I will showcase the Ultimate Tweaks utility first, and then the Risxn Tweaks, and then we will get on with our test, and we'll see who the winner is for Ultimate Tweaks versus Risxn Tweaks. But enough talking about this. Let's go ahead and get on with the Ultimate Tweaks Showcase. All right, I've just installed the Ultimate Tweaks utility. I have opened it, but oh boy, does this look crazy! I have never seen a utility have a temperature monitor. This is, oh my goodness, it even tells me my drive health. Man, this is cool as hell. This is so cool. It shows me my temperature, my speed, my processes, my temperature for my GPU. This was all custom made because I'm sure it's just pulling this from my Windows. Like Windows can see your GPU temperature on Task Manager, but you usually have to install an outside app to see your CPU temperature. So this is insanely cool. I think this is crazy. But wow, and okay, yeah, no, this is definitely gonna beat Risxn Tweaks in the looks category because this is insane. This is giving like Hone vibes, except this just looks better than Hone. I'm pretty sure you can create your restore point. I'm not gonna do that though. My game library, so I'm assuming it's gonna do auto optimizations for that, and then I can do as beta, ultra, or all. Man, this is so cool. This really is like, this is giving like crazy Hone vibes, but this does look a lot more better. I don't even know what this is. Add-ons, I guess you can add a crosshair. That's cool. Actually, I'm kind of curious. Oh wow, and it's within what? Now why would anybody use this crosshair? Yeah, but wow, this is so freaking cool. I cannot explain this. This is crazy cool. In ultimate mode. Okay, and it has Hone has this as well. This is cool, but I would never use this, the AI chats. But wow, I am super excited to try this. So I'm gonna do everything I possibly can, and then we'll see the Risxn Tweaks. We'll showcase the Risxn Tweaks utility and everything it has to offer, and then we'll do our tests, and we'll see which utility gives me the best performance. All right, and now we have the Risxn Extreme Showcase. Here it is. If you watched this series before, you've seen this. However, we are going to assume you haven't. You have your PC information here. You obviously don't get as much as Ultimate Tweaks, and I'm telling you right now, Ultimate Tweaks is going to win the looks category. It is so freaking cool. But I mean, yeah, it looks good, and also will get you what you need done. Windows settings, performance settings, power, visual, USB, BCD edit, DVR, disk errors. It has some fixes in here, extra tweaks as well. Network optimization, this is for Ethernet only. Debloat optimization, this can help a lot. However, blowing your processes a super ton, like getting to a point where you're breaking Windows, it's really not necessary, I would say. But have the option to. You have GPU specific tweaks and extra optimizations, just like priority, some regit for CPU, data size queue, mouse keyword, regit tweaks, and priority for specific games. So we have just shown this. So I'm definitely going to give the point to the ultimate tweaks. That is the nicest looking UI I've ever seen, and probably one of the coolest. But let's go ahead and get on with the test and see who the winner is going to be. All right, and now for our test results. On our process count test, the stock OS had a process count of 139. The ultimate tweaks had a process count of 131. And the RisxnTweaks had a process count of 59, giving RisxnTweaks the win for the process count. The Bufferbloat Test, the stock OS got a grade of an F. The ultimate tweaks, it also got a grade of an F. And for RisxnTweaks, it got a Bufferbloat score of a A. For the latency test, the stock had a highest process latency of 200.8, an average process latency of 7.37, and the highest DPC latency being 189, the average DPC latency being 3.5. For the ultimate tweaks, had a highest process latency of 503.7, an average of 3.84, with the highest DPC latency being 498, with the average DPC latency being 1.9. For the RisxnTweaks, the highest process latency was 45.3, with an average of 2.74. The highest DPC latency was 43.5, with an average DPC latency of 1.36, giving RisxnTweaks the win for the latency test. For the FPS test, the stock had a RAM usage of just below 9 gigabytes, had a minimum FPS of 135, an average FPS of 180, a maximum FPS of 135, and our 1% lows were 102. On the ultimate tweaks, our RAM usage was 8 gigabytes with a minimum FPS of 172, an average FPS of 225, a maximum FPS of 323, and our 1% lows were 106. On our RisxnTweaks, our RAM usage was 7.1 gigabytes, our minimum FPS was 26, our average FPS was 239, our maximum FPS was 282, and 1% lows were 29, giving RisxnTweaks the win for the FPS test. Now you might be thinking our minimum FPS and 1% lows are super low, but because they are so close together, I'm thinking this is because of whenever I tabbed in and out of OBS. I sometimes do not time it perfectly whenever I open MSI, and it sometimes does do that, but our average FPS is much higher on the RisxnTweaks, giving it the win for this test and this video, giving RisxnTweaks the dub. For the conclusion of this video, obviously the winner is RisxnTweaks Extreme. They won every category besides the looks, but I would absolutely recommend Ultimate Tweaks. I think it is more focused on people who want like an FPS increase but still want to keep like full functionality of their PC. There's definitely a market for that. There's a lot of cool features and some BIOS settings that absolutely should be on, can have a major FPS increase. But I have nothing bad to say about it besides the fact that I don't really think it's acceptable that they don't, like, my Bufferbloat score didn't change at all. My latency on my internet, like that didn't change at all. I wish that they added stuff for that, but nevertheless, that utility was really good. I really enjoyed that utility. It's pretty easy to use. The one thing I will say about it is every time I open it, it had me log in again, which that doesn't sound like bad, but it was kind of dumb. I feel like that should save somehow, but that really isn't important at all for the utility. The ultimate tweaks thing, I did figure out what that is. I can put a video on the screen, but that was super cool. It's like this whole custom UI. It basically just kills like processes that you might need if you're going to use your PC, but if you're just going to play games, you won't. Like Explorer disables that, and it gives you like this whole menu. You can select what games you want to play, and then whenever you're done, you can just hit the power button up top and it'll revert everything it did, and you can use your PC just like normal. I've never seen that before. That is super cool. But nevertheless, for our test that we done, we want the most FPS increase, so the extreme tweaks have won. That is going to conclude this video. I really enjoyed Ultimate Tweaks, and I would actually recommend them. But to wrap it up, RisxnTweaks has taken the dub for this video again. Make sure you use code HYDRA at checkout for 15% off any product from RisxnTweaks.com.